Tucked away in the rolling hills of the Pacific Northwest, Moscow, Idaho is a community defined by its quiet, rural landscape. On the campus of the University of Idaho, 4 students spent a typical November weekend studying, socializing, and returning to their off-campus rental home. The timeline of their evening tracked perfectly with a standard college experience, but the routine of those final hours made the events that followed difficult to comprehend. Sometime before dawn, that normalcy was broken by a sudden act of violence that left all 4 students dead. The timeline of their lives fractured late the next morning when a frantic emergency call finally alerted authorities to the residence. Responding officers arrived to find a complex and chaotic environment inside the multi-level house. Law enforcement immediately began the process of securing the property, working to preserve delicate forensic evidence against the encroaching winter snow. As news broke, fear spread rapidly through the student body and the tight-knit town. Investigators launched broad public appeals for any information, video, or tips, but the early days yielded no clear motives and no obvious suspects. The absence of an immediate lead created a vacuum of information, leaving the public to wonder how a killer could remain unidentified in a modern community. In response, the police mounted a traditional investigation, beginning with hundreds of face-to-face interviews across the community. Officers canvassed the surrounding blocks, specifically looking for homes equipped with doorbell cameras. They expanded that search downtown, pulling hours of CCTV footage from local businesses and feeding it into a central database. Analysts scrubbed the feeds, manually identifying and flagging unusual vehicle movements in the background during the early morning hours. By overlapping the timestamps from these external cameras, investigators successfully blocked out a timeline of a single suspect vehicle driving through the neighborhood. While these visual methods confirmed a car was present, the resolution was too low to capture a license plate or a face, requiring authorities to rely on a more precise investigative filter. The search moved from physical street corners to the invisible realm of digital forensics. As a mobile device moves, it connects to local towers, leaving a digital geographic trail. Investigators cross-referenced the vehicle's physical movements on CCTV with this invisible cell tower data. Merging these streams formed a targeted tracking system, illuminating the suspect's nighttime route. Public reports also indicate that digital forensics uncovered specific internet searches, which investigators have noted in their efforts to connect online activity to the physical crime scene. While this digital evidence is a powerful tracking mechanism, the law requires it to be evaluated in a courtroom alongside all other physical proof. These digital footprints effectively mapped the suspect's physical movements, making an otherwise anonymous vehicle visible to investigators. Alongside the digital data, investigators recovered biological material from the scene that would provide a link to a specific individual. Laboratories processed the sample, and public reports state investigators utilized genetic genealogy techniques to trace the profile through public databases. By overlaying the results of this biological profile with the circumstantial cell phone data, law enforcement established probable cause. This combination of data allowed prosecutors to secure arrest and search warrants. A multi-state surveillance operation followed, as federal and local authorities tracked the identified suspect thousands of miles across the country to Pennsylvania. Police executed a coordinated nighttime raid, arresting the suspect and immediately collecting further physical evidence from his vehicle and residence. The combination of DNA analysis and the digital trail provided the basis for the arrest, ending the immediate danger to the community. The focus of the case then shifted away from the crime scene and the nationwide manhunt, moving into the structured environment of the legal system. Formal murder charges were filed, bringing the suspect into the courtroom for the initial hearings. The prosecution prepared to present its interwoven digital and physical evidence, while the defense mobilized to challenge the methodology and assumptions behind that data. In the American justice system, an arrest is merely an accusation. The ultimate test of this complex web of evidence now rests entirely in the hands of a jury. Behind this outcome are thousands of hours of police work, scientific testing, and meticulous digital analysis. Modern perpetrators must now contend with an omnipresent digital tracking system that records nearly every movement, moving beyond simple physical traces like fingerprints. The investigation into the Idaho murders serves as an example of modern forensic capabilities, proving that in today's investigations, the digital web is nearly impossible to escape.